Education Box here. Welcome back to another video. In this video, we will be going over for loops in Python. So this is the third video in my series of learning Python basics. So let's get started. So I'm going to create a list here called A. I'm just going to say like, I don't know, banana, apple, orange. And then I'm going to do this. So now let's say we want to print each individual part of the list. So we can obviously do print a square bracket 0, and then I can copy this, and then I can paste it. I can put 1, and then I can paste it again, and I can put 2, and then I can run it, and it will work by printing everything in the list. However, this is quite a slow process, especially if you have many more things in your list. So what we can do here is we can say for element in a print element. Now what that will do here is if we run the program, it will basically say for the elements in A, and then it will print all of the elements, which you can see is much quicker. And we can even add other things here. We can even add this again, and what this will do is it will print everything twice, as you can see. Okay, so I've just put all this code into quotation marks so it won't be run. So let's move on to a second example. So let's create another list called B and say, let's put numbers this time. So 20, 10, and 5. Now, we can also do this using the same method that we did before. We can say for element in B, print element. And if we run this, it should print 20, 10, and 5. Now, you can also change this to anything you want. You can change it to E, you can change it to I, to F, to whatever you want. So we can also put this, and it would still work. Okay, so now let's just get rid of this. So let's say we want to find the sum of the numbers in the list. So what we need to do is to initialize a variable before this called total, and then set it to 0. Then what we need to do here is to say total is equal to total plus E. So what is it? So what it's doing is it's checking each value in the list and then adding it to itself. So it would add 20, and then it would add 10 to 20, and then it would add 5 to 30 because So our total should be 35. So if we now add a final print statement and we say print total, it should print 35. Okay, so I've put everything in quotation marks so we can move on to our other example. So let's say you want to create a list from the numbers 1 through 5. Now you could obviously just do A is equal to, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. But there is a quicker method. You can actually use Python's range function. So you can do range 1 to 6, and what that will do is it will have the numbers 1 through 6, but not including 6. And to turn this into a list, we use Python's list function. You type in list, put brackets around this, and then we can just set this to a variable called A, and then we can print A. And what that will do, it will print the list of A, which will be the numbers 1 through 5. Now you can actually use this in a for loop as well. So we can say for I in range 1 through 6, print, I forgot to put the colon, print I. So we can again use any letter here or any word, but I'm just using I because it's quick to type. So what that will do, it will print 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if we run the program, it prints 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's say you actually want to find the sum of the numbers from 1 through 5. Now again, what we need to do is we need to initialize a variable before called total and set it to 0. For I in range 1 to 6, and what we do here is we say total is equal to total plus I. Now you could of course write total is equal to total plus I, but you could also write total plus equals to I, which is a shortcut to this. So now what that will do is it will add 1 to 2, and then to 4, and then to 5, which should be 15. So if we print the total right now, and then we run the program, it should print. Okay, so in this example, we're going to be doing something a bit more complicated. So let's just create a list here, range 1 through 8, print A. So obviously, we will have a list of numbers from 1 through 7. So now let's say you want to find the sum of the multiples of 3 in the ranges of the numbers 1 through 8. So you would obviously need to do for I in range 1 through 8. And then before I write this line of code, I will need to explain something to you. So I will need to tell you what a module operator is. So I'm just going to open the Python shell. So if you don't know what a module operator is when you divide the two numbers and then it gives you the remainder. So if you do 5 mod 3, it gives you the remainder of 2. If you do 1 mod 3, it gives you the remainder of 1. If you do 3 mod 1, however, it gives you the remainder of 0. And you can do this and it gives you the remainder of 0. So basically it divides the two numbers and then it gives you the remainder. So with that in mind, we can actually do here, we can say if I mod 3 is equal to 0, total is equal to, or we could just say total plus equals to I, then we print the total. Now the reason why we did this, all of this, so basically we had a for loop checking the numbers 1 through 7, then we checked if each of those numbers divided by 3 gives a remainder of 0, and we have to of course use the two equal signs, because if you use 1 it means that you're assigning it to something. So we check if the remainder is 0, and if it is, it means that it is divisible by 3, and we add it together because we want to find the sum of it. Now I just forgot to initialize the total variable. We want to set total to 0. So now if we run the program, we should get 9, because 3 plus 6 is 9. And we got 9. Okay, so now to wrap up the video, I'm going to give you guys a challenge. So let's say I want you guys to find the sum of the multiples of 3 and 5 in the range 1 through 100. Now I'm going to let you pause the video and work that out. Okay, so hopefully you pause the video, and now I'll be giving out two solutions to this. So the first solution, you can say total 3 is equal to 0, total 5 is equal to 0. Then we can, the reason why we're saying 3 and 5 is we want to find the multiples, sum of the multiples of 3 and 5 in the range of 1 through 100. So we can say for I in range 1 through 100, which basically means 1 through 99, if I mod 3 is equal to 0, then total 3 plus equals to I. And then we can say elif I mod 5 is equal to 0, total 5 plus equals to I. I accidentally put 1 here, I meant to put I. And then we can just print total 3 plus total 5. And if we run this, we should get 2,318, which we do, which is correct. Now, another method you could do this is a Krieger method. However, you might not have known this before. So we can actually just have total set to 0, as set to 0, and then we can say if I mod 3 is equal to 0, or I mod 5 is equal to 0, then total plus equals to I. So you may not have known about the OR function, but that basically does what it says. It checks both of these statements. So if we run the program now, it should, oh yeah, I forgot to actually print total. So print total, then we run the module, and then we get 2,318. So that was all for today's video. Hope you enjoyed, and as always, thanks for watching.